Is anyone else getting really tired of seeing superhero films? Like, am I the only one that feels this way? Because I swear, in the last 5 years, I've felt so burned out by the amount of superhero films and now new reboots and universes and resets and everything, and hearing the old same song and dance that, oh, Marvel and the MCU is back at it again with another banger, quote unquote, or oh, DC's back at it again with another banger, or oh, so on and so forth. Like, am I the only one that feels this way? That's just tired of seeing superhero shit. Like, I can't be, because full disclosure, I'm not really a comic book guy. Like, I do like my, Spider-Man and Batman films, and really, that's how I felt about it even as a kid. Like, it wasn't until around Infinity War came out that I really wanted to get back into seeing the MCU, because up to that point, I had only seen up into, what was it, Iron Man 2 and the original Thor. Like, I hadn't gone on to Avengers and Beyond because I just wasn't really a comic book kind of guy. I just liked my Spider-Man and Batman. And I enjoyed the MCU. I really did. I enjoyed how it ended with Endgame, and I liked some of the films that came out afterwards, like, Far From Home and No Way Home, and there was the Deadpool and Wolverine movie. And then there was also the Into the Spider-Verse, those two films, which are great, which we're still waiting on the third one of that. But aside from that, to my memory, I can't think of, like, any other comic book movie that has made me want to go out and watch it and, like, actively want to see it. Like, none whatsoever. Because they all just feel like they're just slop, like mediocre, average slop that's just kind of a waste of time to watch, at least for me, because I'm someone that values my time. And going out and seeing a film that is just average for, like, with how expensive movie tickets are. Now it costs freaking, like, what, $12, $13 for a movie ticket with all the taxes and fees and shit. It costs a lot of money to go see a movie, and then all to just see it with an average feeling once you're done with it. Like, oh, it's not the worst thing in the world, but there was nothing exciting about it. Like, that's just how it's felt with some of these. And eventually I just tuned out and stopped watching them, like, especially the shows that the MCU pumped out, which, oh, that felt like it was more homework than anything. Ugh, oh my gosh, like, ugh. It was just a lot. I remember I had watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then it was WandaVision, and then there was freaking Loki coming. Like, all this stuff was coming out back to back, and it's like, wow, was there just way too much, like, actual shit coming out that you couldn't keep up with it. It felt like homework. And it just seems like it hadn't gotten much better over time, and I kind of just tuned and checked out. Like, what was it? Shang-Chi? But some film that came out that I just checked out, and Eternals, and there's just so many. And then most of them, again, have been either bad or mediocre from what I've heard from people. And then there was, like, this weird song and dance that was going on, recently. Like, what was it? Like, Thunderbolts and some other MCU films and shows that have really slipped my mind because I've just really checked out or tuned out. And the box office even revealed with Thunderbolts that, like, yeah, they didn't really make, or they rather barely broke even. Like, it wasn't really this big sort of hype train that people were kind of expecting or hoping that it was going to be. Like, I even remember seeing that at one point they changed it to be like, what, the New Avengers or something? Like, they just changed the title of the movie midway through its, like, theatrical run, which was like, I mean, it was talked about, but I was like, why did you do that in the middle of the theatrical run? But anyway, it seemed a little strange to me. But I just, that's how I felt, at least, because a lot of my friends have wanted to go out and see these films, and, when they're done watching them, they come back and they're like, oh man, this was such a great film, telling me I need to go check it out. But then, I follow some people I watch on YouTube, like Jeremy Johns is like one of my top guys I like watching. But I follow, like, some other channels too that I watch that, like, review movies that kind of have similar taste to me. And they just tell me that, like, it's either fine or it's just not really as good as it's being made out to be. And, the MCU has been trying to bounce back and get back on track. But, I mean, Avengers Doomsday, that film looks like it's going to be a huge, like, I don't want to say dumpster fire, but a huge sort of disaster with the amount of actors that are coming back and how big that film's budget's been bloated. And not many people have been really too excited for it. Like, Fantastic Four, that film came out, which I almost forgot that came out. That film was supposed to segue into Doomsday, Avengers Doomsday and Secret War or whatever they're trying to do. And that film barely broke even, if it did at all. Like, its budget was like a couple $100 million, and it barely broke that even. I heard it was, again, another fine movie. And there's no hype. There's no hype for it. I'm not excited for it. Like, it just feels like a lot of people are kind of waiting for just a reset button. Like, well, that's it. We're done. Moving on now, and we're going to reboot the whole universe. Like, what's going on with DC? I mean, the DCU is basically not continuing with Zack Snyder's vision right after the Snyder Cut came out, which, full disclosure, might get a little bit of hate for it, but I liked the Snyder Cut, and I liked the Snyderverse. Like, it wasn't perfect, I'm not going to deny that, but I liked the vision and where it was going, and now it's, like, probably never going to continue again. I mean, I'd love to see a comic book or graphic novel that kind of helps close out that universe in any way, but time will tell if we even get that. But yeah, like DC is rebooting their entire universe with James Gunn, and it's just like I don't really much care. Like I watched Superman, and I was kind of like left with this feeling of, again, it was average. I mean, it wasn't horrible to see. There were some things I liked, and then there were quite a few things that I didn't like that were kind of annoying. Like I was telling my friend the other day after I was done watching it, because I waited until it came out on demand just to like rent it, because it cost a little bit less for me than to go to the theater to do that, because movie tickets are expensive again. But when I watched it, I was like, it just didn't really excite me as much as it excited him, and I was telling him, like, I mean, would I watch this again? Probably not. And then I went and even watched the original, like, Christopher Reeve Superman, at least the first two, and there was just a charm with them that I just liked more than, the new one. That it just, because the new one just kind of throws you in, like, midway into this world, and there's just so much going on instead of it keeping, like, a sort of self-contained story. There's just, like, so much going on. And the Peacemaker show, season 2 came out, I still just don't care. Like, I didn't even care about the first season, and I still don't care. Like, on these other film lineups that Gunn's trying to do, it just feels like there's just, once again, we're back to the homework and too much stuff is going on. It's like, now we got to follow a whole set of new characters, do all this kind of stuff again. Kind of like even what happened after, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man trilogy was kind of rebooted with, Raimi no longer in the picture. And then they went into Mark Webb's The Amazing Spider-Man 1 or 2 as like a sort of reboot. And a lot of people even then were kind of fatigued at the time, at least in my memory, how I felt. So I just, again, I feels like I've been kind of ranting for like a couple minutes now, but it just feels like there's just too much of this coming out. It feels like there's nothing new, like something new or fresh and exciting. Like, I remember seeing Warfare, which was a A24 film that came out in theaters with the same friend I mentioned, and we had a blast watching that. That was a good film. If you like war films, this is really good, a must-have, and recommend to anyone that likes those kind of films, especially if they're more accurately portrayed. Because I know there's some war films out there like Hurt Locker that are kind of criticized by military guys for being, sort of not accurate. Like good films, but not accurate to how it actually would be. Or even the Naked Gun reboot, which, yeah, I just went off on a tirade and rant about there being a reboot. But we haven't had a good comedy like that in a while. Like everybody brought their A game in that. That was a good film to watch. Like I was laughing where my sides were hurting. Because I had seen the original Naked Gun trilogy and the show, and this film captured the spirit beautifully of it. So, I want to see more films like that, like either original or a reboot that sticks the landing and isn't a cash cow of some kind. Yeah, I just want to see more stuff like that, because that's what excites me to go see at the theater. Like the Oppenheimers even are a lot more exciting to see in theaters, because it's something fresh, new, exciting, something that's not the same old superhero slop. So yeah, I have superhero fatigue. I'm tired of seeing it. Like, I'll still go and see Spider-Man and Batman whenever the Batman 2 comes out, but I just don't much care for all these cinematic universes anymore. It just feels like it's too much of it. Like, I'm hoping we're going to start seeing some more original ideas from Hollywood, because that's at least where I'm going to put my money at, is just seeing, whenever I hear good films coming out that are actually, they don't have to be like this crazy standout, like, oh my gosh, this is a must-see experience like Oppenheimer. But I'd like to see films that try to take creative risks or feel a lot more, interesting and are trying to do something different, like those wacky off films. Like, I'll even take more of films like The Swiss Army Man. If you ever heard of that film, if you haven't, highly recommend watching it, especially if you just go see the opening. The opening will tell you alone if you'll like it. And it's got Daniel Radcliffe playing a dead body. That's all I'm going to say. So, anyway, let me know in the comments down below if you guys feel the same way when it comes to the superhero genre movies that have been coming out. Because at least to me, it feels like there's just too much of it to go around and follow and, sort of keep up with. And I don't know, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just, alone in this park, and for all I know, I could be wrong. Maybe there's something I'm not seeing, and a lot of people are excited for superhero films coming out still. So there's still like a targeted audience. So anyway, like I said, let me know down in the comments below how you feel about it. So that's all I really have to say in this video. Apologies for the kind of rant nature of this, but it was kind of on my mind for a couple days as I got back from my trip as well. So I had to pick between which one to do first, but I figured this one wasn't nearly as important. So figured I'd save it for the second video on Sunday. So that's all I really have to say in this video. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell to know when I post another video. Also, check out my Rumble, link in the description. It's a sort of backup I have just in case things might happen on YouTube. So if you have a Rumble account, give a follow on over there, because we are also here on YouTube still on the road to 500 subscribers, and as of recording, we're still at the same number of 486. So we're just going to keep going forward and forward. Hopefully my videos can get back into the algorithm and, you know, get the word out there, so to speak. Because I also have another idea I'm going to maybe throw around, and I might make a post about this tomorrow. But what are your guys' thoughts on maybe even me live streaming? Is that something you might be interested in, whether it be on YouTube, Twitch, or even Rumble? You know, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys with another video. Y'all take care and have a good rest of your weekend.